I got engaged to a blind Duke. Episode 159. Bunny chewed the flower thoroughly and swallowed it with a gulp. Weren't you a carnivore? Oh, you were originally a herbivore. So are you omnivorous now? Rabbit. Sister needs that flower too. Bunny turned around and hopped away energetically. Marin also chased closely behind. The moonlight that had been hidden by clouds emerged, making the surroundings a little brighter. Soon the dandelion colony appeared. On the blue grass, flowers with different colored petals filled the area. The colorful flowers looked exactly like the boss demon flower in appearance. Only, they were just as small as a finger joint in size. Marin stopped abruptly in that spot. Her mind raced busily. Could it be that ordinary Mandela flower seeds flew here and changed into various colored flowers? These flowers will later evolve like demon flowers? When she lightly touched the colorful petals, they were no different from ordinary flowers. Gerald had definitely said he eliminated all the demon flowers. Hadn't she seen it clearly with her own eyes? The moment the boss demon flower died, all the other demon flowers died simultaneously too. Marin narrowed her eyes and looked around. Demon beasts evolved to match their ecological environment. Marin, who recalled this, gulped nervously. While she continued to survey the surroundings, Bunny, as if deciding to go completely vegetarian, picked flowers wherever he saw them and put them in his mouth. Marin was blankly watching Bunny eat when her eyes widened. Bunny's wounds were healing rapidly. Treat flowers with flowers. Her prediction was correct. Right. Treating the Duke was the priority now. Marin hurriedly picked flowers. They were flowers between Mandela and demon flowers. She thought these could cure his poison. As she picked the flowers, she could see transparent granules inside the flower buds. They looked like flower seeds. Could these be helpful too? She picked flowers until both hands were full and returned to the original spot. Bunny was standing guard beside the Duke, having arrived at some point. Thank you, Rabbit. Marin approached Gerald and whispered softly. Lord Gerald, I will definitely cure you. She had seen Bunny recover, but the rabbit was a demon beast. It could work differently on humans. She decided to experiment on herself first before feeding it to the Duke. Because for humans, it might act as a poisonous herb rather than a medicinal herb. Marin took a deep breath and with a determined expression, chewed and ate the flowers she had brought. When she bit the seed-like thing with her teeth, water burst out. Marin swallowed and waited just like that. Fortunately, even as time passed, there was no stomach pain or anything. Marin looked at the lying Duke with resolute eyes. She wanted to wait longer to see if there were any problems, but she didn't know when the poison the Duke had consumed would take him to death. His pulse was gradually slowing. Marin lifted the lying Duke's shoulders and forced him to sit up. Then she bit flower seeds in her mouth to create water. For the Duke, whose whole body was stiffening, she could only feed him liquids. Marin looked at the Duke with trembling eyes. To think the day would come when I would kiss the Duke first. Marin closed her eyes tightly and carefully touched his lips, then poured the seed water in. Fortunately, she could feel him receiving and drinking it. Well done. The first time was awkward, but it was easy from then on. Marin diligently made seed water and put it in his mouth, and he received it. After doing this for a while, she laid him down again and put her face against his chest. She could feel his slowly beating heart finding its proper rhythm. Her treatment was taking effect. Marin felt tears welling up but tried hard to hold them back. I'll stay by your side like this for life. I'll protect Vines. Marin deliberately made her voice playful, hoping that hearing her voice would make him smile, even briefly. She hoped the Duke wouldn't suffer. Right now, he must be the one suffering more than anyone. Marin wanted to give the Duke the strength to overcome this. His chest rose and fell. It seemed like he was telling her he was still okay, so Marin swallowed her tears inwardly. Marin took out her notebook and read fairy tales softly, hoping Gerald would sleep without pain. A day had passed since the Duke collapsed from poison. Marin diligently cleaned around where the Duke was lying and completely set up camp. She couldn't leave the Duke alone in the forest and bring someone, nor could she leave with the Duke, who was much bigger and heavier than herself. Most importantly, since the colorful flowers were effective, staying here and treating him was the best option to save him. Perhaps because Bunny had high recovery power, all his wounds healed in just one day. So she had Bunny fetch long tree branches. Because it was a dense forest, there were many long tree branches. She propped tree branches in a triangular shape around the Duke and covered the surroundings with large tree leaves. From a distance, it roughly looked like a leaf house. She would have liked to build a nice house made of wood, but she lacked the skills. She picked fruits to make extract and fed it to the Duke, and also frequently gave him seeds and water. Marin lay beside him whenever she had time and whispered. When I read books as a child, the young ladies looked at me like I was a strange person. Then I would look back at them intensely with eyes that said, "What are you looking at?" She talked about her past of being ostracized. Father was so affectionate that he carried me on his back until I was 10 years old. Mom tried to stop him, but I liked Father carrying me. She talked about tender memories with her father. When I first saw Lord Gerald, I really thought he was handsome. You didn't know that, did you? Hee hee. Actually, maybe I fell for you at first sight? She talked about their intense first meeting. Are you listening to me now? You're hearing everything, right? You're not going to abandon me alone like this, are you? She talked about her worries that the Duke might never wake up. Please, wake up. I love you, Lord Gerald. While confessing her love. Days accumulated like this with the Duke, who couldn't move. Rabbit. Sister is going hunting, so guard the house well. Bunny, who had been chewing flowers, snorted at her words. Marin straightened her shoulders confidently without being discouraged. I caught fish 3 days ago. Bunny tapped one foot and glanced sideways. Following the rabbit's gaze, there were pheasants and wild chickens that Bunny had caught, roasting deliciously. Having discovered the taste of worldly pleasures, Bunny now wouldn't eat well unless it was grilled meat. Zeromian's bracelet, which could produce fire any time, was truly magnificent in many ways. I'll go get some water. When she said this while holding up the water pouch, only then did Bunny look at her with eyes that said to go and come back. Arriving at the waterfall, Marin crouched down on the ground and filled the water pouch with water. At the sound of the waterfall's cool stream, Marin lifted her gaze. The time she had spent here with the Duke felt like a dream. 10 days had already passed since they began living in the forest. The Duke still hadn't awakened, as if he were sleeping. Sleeping Beauty, no, it's not even a princess but a Duke. How many kisses do I give him every day? Isn't he supposed to suddenly wake up when he receives a kiss? Why won't he wake up? I miss him so much. Marin grumbled and then voiced what she most wanted to say at the end. Every night she slept holding him tight as he lay stiff as stone, but she missed so much his gaze that used to look at her, his deep low voice, and his large reassuring touch. I miss you, Gerald. She tried not to cry in front of Bunny, but when she was alone like this, tears came. That's why she deliberately left the rabbit behind and came to fetch water. Because her crying could be swallowed by the sound of the waterfall, allowing her to cry to her heart's content. After being affected by the demon flower's poison, first his voice wouldn't come out, second his body stiffened, and third his eyes couldn't see. His mind was clear, but there were no sensations entering his body. Nothingness. Trapped in a black world, it felt like he was falling down, further and further down. Each time, her voice pulled him back up. Only her varied stories saved him like a lifeline. From some point on, he could no longer hear her voice that had been whispering beside him. However, knowing that she was beside him, struggling to save him, he couldn't give up. He tried somehow to move even just one finger. He had never known in his entire life that moving a single finger could be such a difficult task. And finally, he succeeded. Ha! Kook.